Hey everybody, Charlie Chitwood here for another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. We're going to start things off real quick with Coach Ashley Gordon, the women's soccer team, still out there grinding in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Coach, Grambling coming up, you've got the rain to deal with. It's going to be a little bit sloppy, but not too bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Look, our opponent is really physical, so we have to bring it. It's an athletic team. I think we're going to be tested for sure. And like with all these non-conference matches, it's about us being able to prepare to get ready for conference play. So two remaining non-conference games this weekend. After Grambling, we come home for a day of recovery. Then we head to Stillwater to go play OSU, and of course, great respect for OSU and their team.
15th ranked in the nation.
15th in the nation, yes. From the get-go, they've been top 20 team this year. But great team. I've got a former player that actually plays for OSU, so it'll be good to see her. But we're going to be tested this weekend.
Coach, the tough match with Texas State, that one didn't go the way you wanted, and that's probably the only opponent we've had that was really able to get a number of goals and get.
Yeah, I mean, any of the games that we've only lost by a goal, and really statistically, it's been an even match. And even when we played against Texas State, we had some mistakes. We scored a really good goal, but statistically, it was 14-13 in shots. Corners and set pieces were even 8-8 for both sides. So we just got to continue pushing forward, continue to get better, and hopefully have a little bit of luck that can go our way, as well. But we're playing some good soccer. I was not unpleased with how we've been playing, and even when we were competing against Tulsa last week, we went down a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game. It was a really quality goal that they scored, but I was really pleased with how our team responded in the second half, and we came back to score a goal. We ended up losing 2-1, but in the last 8 seconds of the game against Tulsa, Maya Mitchell had a breakaway, really good shot on goal. It didn't go in, but we could have tied that game in the last 8 seconds. So anyway, but we're playing well, Charlie. We're playing well. So we just got to continue putting our head down, continue grinding. For us, we need a little luck to have some players come back into our roster. We've had a number of injuries.
Right.
We've yet to play with a full roster, and so it seems like every time we get a player back, we get someone that is getting injured. So going into this weekend, though, we are getting our captain, Colombian, back, our All-American JUCO player, which is Camila Montero. So she's coming back. So she's going to get some playing time, obviously, this weekend, which I think will be great heading into conference play. It looks like just with the timetable, we should get 2 additional players back for going into UTRGV. So again, we just got to take care of what we need to take care of with our injured players and get them back so we can be full strength.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. In the meantime, you've got, as you said, the SWAC defending champs. How would Grambling fare if they were in the Southland Conference? Any comparison with the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they would be in the top half within our conference. Like I said, very, very athletic team. In every game that they've played, even with a loss, they've only lost by a goal. I mean, they went to Arizona State and only lost 2-0. So they're a good team. We've got to be prepared to play and compete and have mentality, but they're a good opponent.
And then Oklahoma State, they're ranked, they're Big 12. Coach, what are their biggest strengths? Is it
their athleticism?
Just well-rounded all the way?
Their athleticism, and what I'd say is I'm really pleased that I played Texas State prior to going into OSU. They played the same formation. Both of those opponents playing a 3-5-2. We'll probably see that formation from one opponent within the Southland Conference. So I think, being able to compete in all these non-conference games, playing against different formations, we have to problem solve and have to adapt. And I think that we're doing a good job with that. So that's good.
Well, very good. Okay. Coach, we're looking forward to watching this one online later tomorrow, Thursday.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock kickoff.
Don't miss it. It'll be online. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to some more of Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood, joined now by women's volleyball head coach Joe Morales. Hey, man, it was a busy weekend out east, and this was the first big road trip for your squad. There's always good team building as well as the competition.
Yeah, it was. I think it got we flew to East Carolina. We're driving from Raleigh to Greenville. It was a good show all the way around, from the team hanging out together, parents. We had a good fan base too. Parents came out there. They're supporting. It was a good trip for us. We definitely enjoyed it. I mean, East Carolina is beautiful, and they put on a good tournament for us.
Tell you what, so you had East Carolina, you have North Carolina A&T, and you had one other directional. Western Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what did you think of the three programs? You've talked, and we visited about this, how you play up as much as you can here in pre-conference.
Right. I think we started off with Western. I think that was our first game on the road. Again, like to have that one back, but they played well. I thought we had an opportunity to win it at the end, and it just fell short a little bit. We made some errors that weren't characteristic of us early on. Not going to blame it on travel, but it was our first one. And then, so they had a good team. They had really good outsides that did some damage to us. And then, the second game, the primetime game, we played East Carolina. And I tell you what, that was the most fun I've had coaching. I mean, we played I think they're legitimately top 3, top 2 in the American Conference. I mean, that's my opinion. And I think what Al is doing is great over there. And we got to, we got some heavy hitters on the other side of the net. You got a 6'3" lefty that was touching 10 plus. They're outside the same, so. But we played neck and neck with them. We hung, and we fell short just by a couple points here and there. But looking at that second set, we were up 24, 22, 24, 23, and just couldn't put it away. But it was fun, and then we capped off the game, the weekend with North Carolina A&T, and they had a really good outside. But again, we had opportunities. Like I talked to you earlier, we went off script in the third set, and I kind of did some different things, and didn't even tell the coaches. I was winging it. We did some things that I just tried and see what we can do. Totally new lineup in the middle of the set, and so it worked, and it was doing some good things. We were just a little bit too far back.
When you do something like that and go off script, it's kind of a break for the team as well, because they're not doing the same thing. Coach wants us to just play.
And you also get a chance to see how the kids adapt. You got to make a lot of adjustments. I mean, I always tell them, coaching is a chess game. You're going to make a move, they're going to figure out how to stop you. Then you got to make another one, and so it keeps them going a little bit, and it keeps them on the toes, and then that's how you build out IQ a little bit, you got to be aware, be prepared to take adjustments in the game, figure out the scouting report, maybe a switch in the scouting report. And that's how kids get smarter on the court. And you got to let them play through that a little bit. They're going to have some errors, and that's fine. And, we move past it. But what better time to do it is in preseason.
It's a lot different for an athlete out on the court to look over to the sideline and see you pulling hair out versus kind of laughing and saying, just play.
Yeah. We try to keep, there are standards we want to hold. And so I tell them, I'm like, sometimes my emotions, my face goes, it's a poker face. It's going out. I wear it on my sleeve, and I'm like, you can the funny faces of me and on the camera. But I always tell them, like, guys, just because I'm making this face, I'm still in the game. So you just keep on doing your thing. Don't worry about my face. And I've been better at that too. So I think this weekend was also a test to me of being just relaxed a little bit more on the bench and trusting the process. I mean, again, like I've said this before, this is the only sport that if the other team makes an error, we get a point.
Right.
We make an error, they get a point. So it's going to happen. I mean, kids still got to play the game.
So you had that big kind of team building and go out to the Carolinas. Yeah. Now you're going to get your temporary membership card for the Big 12. You've got TCU. And UCLA this weekend.
Absolutely.
U of H next week.
Yeah.
What about those matches? How different are they in the approach that your team will take compared to where you just were?
It's going to be a little different. And it's going to be different for those teams that we're playing, too, because they don't play teams like us a lot. So, I told them, like, hey, they're used to playing very high. We're used to playing very fast. There's a difference between our speed from, that caliber. UCLA has a 6'5" kid, so, and she's touching probably 10'5", 10'6". So it's going to be a different style of how we play. Our standards and what we do on the court is still similar. We're not going to change what we do and how we do things. We just got to be a little bit more diligent on making sure the errors are minimized. And, they're going to get their points. They're going to get their big swings. What we've been doing really well is our, attacking from the service line. And I think if we can be consistent on that, getting them out of system a little bit, it helps us, our defense. So, I tell them, I was like, hey, like my middle, Avery Wilkes, I was like, hey, Avery, like they may be jumping higher than you, but you're faster. So you're faster laterally, at least I think, you got a 6 foot kid going against a, 6'3", 6'4" kid. And so we're going to get our looks. And it's going to be a game. And I just want us to compete. Just compete. Like, we are the underdogs. We're going in there. Like,
sure.
They're a Power 4. But we're excited. Like, you're still going to be playing in front of your fans. You're going to, you're right, across town. Like, hey, let's just go out and have fun and let's compete. Because all this is prepping us for conference, and that's that. I told them that's the golden ticket. That's what we are here to do. And so let's keep after it.
All right. Well, Coach, we're running out of time, but I can't wait to hear how it goes with those. It'll be fun to keep up with.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the TCU's on ESPN Plus, so absolutely.
All right. Well, watch it on the Plus. Until then, go Lions.
Go Lions. See you guys there.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. Hey, we got the big man here now. It's Jim Curry, athletic director, and, there's a whole lot going on in the sports pot of A&M Commerce. You get to hold the paddle. How was your week?
I call this the night and weekends week. So everybody's working nights and weekends this week, so for sure, getting ready for the home opener, but and got back a little bit late after that game on Saturday. We rolled into Commerce about 8 a.m. So when the sun's up, when you get off the plane,
it's rough.
And you know that it was down before that. It's
know how vampires feel, don't you?
Now we know how they feel. That's exactly right. That's it.
Yeah, and driving east into it in the morning is that's rough.
We don't have any future games in California on the schedule at this point, and I think after getting home at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, maybe that's going to be the way it is for a while.
Yeah, there are other directions you can go.
Yeah, there's other directions.
Why not?
All right.
Hey, the Lions played a very good UCal Davis team and scared the pants off of them almost.
Yeah.
A lot of good out of that. Still some stuff to clean up, but there'd been a lot of stuff to clean up before. Now we're seeing some of the good stuff as well.
No question. And I think we walked into the year thinking that we were better, right? And you never really know till you strap it on.
Exactly.
But these first two games against really quality opponents, of course, I think we've shown what's possible, what we're capable of. It's funny. I talked to Clint after the game, and he was disappointed, obviously, because it's a game we felt like we could win.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of said to him, I said, you're going to watch that tape, and you're going to be really happy, and you're going to be really upset. And he knew exactly what I was saying, is that there's so many positives that came out of that game. Again, against some really quality. They got All-Americans on that team that we're playing against, and some of them played like All-Americans. They were really good. But, we know we left some things out there, and Clint knows that. And so I think that was really his message to the guys afterwards is, learning how to finish and complete a game and, learn how to win. And I think we're right there. We're making the right steps and making the progress that we need to get to that point. And so hopefully we'll see it all kind of come together this weekend on Saturday. But, again, really positive, a lot of positive things to build on.
Indeed. Had active soccer. You had volleyball going on as well. And now getting ready for your home football opener. You've had plenty on your plate.
Yeah, we had those first couple weeks where we had home volleyball tournament and soccer and things like that. And I think we needed a week 3 opener this year, to be honest with you.
Somewhere.
Yeah, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we onboarded a new director of facilities and event operations for athletics in the last 2 weeks. Anicia Richardson came to us from Akron, so she brings great experience from multiple Division I institutions and multiple perspectives. She's a native out of Mesquite and played some hoops down at Trinity and was a pretty good hooper
All
herself.
right.
So she's been a great addition to the team and hit the ground running. But again, a lot of work to do to get there, particularly when we know what kind of crowd we're going to have and the response that we've had, and I think the energy around the program right now too. So, it's one of those where I think when we look at this past weekend, we didn't get everything we wanted out of the win column. There's no doubt about it across sports, but there's a lot of positives across the board that we're continuing to point to. And I talked to Joe after they got back from North Carolina, and despite they didn't pick one up out there in that tournament, but he was really happy with the way they played against really quality opponents as well. And so I think it's part of that is how do we want to win the game. Let's be very clear, right? We want to win the game, but where do we see those signs of progress, and where do we see those positive things? And really the truth is we're challenging ourselves in the non-conference to prep us for conference play, knowing kind of where we sit right now. And so we've done that across the board. Same thing in soccer. The quality of the schedule that they've played in the non-conference will serve them well as we get ready for conference play. I'm sure Ashley's spoken to that at least once or twice now. So excited to get to football home opener, though, and I think there's an energy around here right now that is ready to tap into that as well. I think across student-athletes, students, faculty, staff, the campus itself, fans, alums, we're ready to go.
And if somebody took a chance and bothered to look at standings in the Southland Conference and all the sports going on right now, they would probably see a lot of sub-500 teams all across the landscape, simply because, it may just be FCS football, but it's almost the same mindset with the other sports, and everybody is playing up in weight class.
No question. And there's been some good results too, I mean, heck, women's golf yesterday and coming back with a nice result in their first tournament and outpacing any of the Southland schools that were in that tournament, and also, finishing the top half there. So we're kind of off and running, but I think that's a hallmark of what's going on in the Southland. But if you look at how some of those teams have played, what Lamar did at Texas State in football a couple weeks ago, what Nichols did against LSU this past week, what even UIW did against South Dakota State. But we also see that in other sports too. And so whether that's volleyball, whether that's women's soccer. So we the league itself continues to get better. There's no doubt about it across all sports. And so I think we're going to continue to see that. Football is certainly on the rise. The basketball side of the house, when we get to the winter, people are going to see there was a big jump last year in hoops quality in the league. It's even better this year, including us. And then baseball and softball have become really dominant sports in the Southland Conference as well. Heck, Lamar last year beat Oklahoma, swept Oklahoma at their place. They won the Big 12. And so, and then softball, conference champ went in, beat Alabama in a knocked out Alabama out of the NCAA tournament. So the quality of play across all sports in the Southland is really on the rise for sure.
Fun time to be here. Hey, speaking of fun time to be here, Victory Bell.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
Yeah.
Y'all kind of dusted off a long-standing tradition.
Yeah.
And kind of made it fresh.
We did. Yeah. What's old is new again, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, when I got here, one of the things that spoke to me was just the rich history and tradition of success that we've had as an athletics program here. And so I think anybody that's passionate about athletics really leans, and particularly college sports, leans into those traditions, right? And
right.
So we wanted to learn more about it, and not just the Victory Bell, but all the traditions here. And I think what we found is that even though we're a 135-year-old institution, there was there wasn't as much tradition as maybe I was anticipating. And then I realized that, okay, there is some tradition out there. It's just that it hasn't really maybe been tapped into or fully developed in the way that it could be. So, a lot that can happen for a lot of reasons, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it happens. And so, where appropriate, where can we lean into it? And credit to a really active and eager group of students in the Traditions Council, a student org across campus, and a really involved, and I say this in a good way, obviously, but a really active and involved and proactive student engagement team over there. And so we've been talking with Student Engagement and Traditions Council for, better part of a year now since I got here, and some of the new staff coming on board, about just how do we improve game day experience, what are things we can do for students, what are some of the traditions that we can lean into. And this is where the Victory Bell came in. And I didn't know anything about it when I got here. It took me a little bit of time to understand what that was, but then I start reading more about it, and it's featured in the college football preview edition in 1964, and it's a centerpiece of some of the campus activities around here for new students and campus tours, and there was some energy around it over on the Student Engagement and Traditions Council side, and so we really just tapped into it. And like I said, credit to them for taking a leading role in that, and we wanted to support that and really kind of bring this thing back to life, and so that's how it came. And so what's so cool about it is it literally traces back to the founding of the university.
It does.
It really
all the way from Delta County.
There it is, right? So, and I think when we talk about traditions that are really kind of pure in the sense that you think about them, they bring people together and they bind generations of students and alum, and that's exactly what this does. Even though it's kind of been, on the sideline, no pun intended, for a few decades now.
Yes.
But
you didn't have a clapper. You got to have
a clapper.
It's turning off somebody's bedroom lights or something.
That's right. So we're excited to bring that back. And I think the other thing, too, is another long tradition that we've got is calling the roll.
Yes.
And that's been a football tradition for some time. But what I think I've learned here recently is that there are a couple other groups on campus that have kind of organically brought that into their mix as well, band included. And we should talk about band in a second because what they're doing. But it's out there kind of organically. And again, it's a joyous moment. It's got great roots, in a little bit of an unexpected victory back in 1958 over Abilene Christian.
Yep.
And so it binds generations of football teams together, and it's more transcendent than just a win, right? It's played other times, and so we talked to Clint, and he loved the idea of just making it a whole Lion thing, right? Whether you're a fan, a student, an alum, a supporter, the team itself. So we're going to lean into that, and so now we're going to do that in a very public-facing way, following a win. We want everybody to stick around. We're gonna sing the fight song. We're gonna sing the alma mater. We're gonna call the roll, and then we're gonna ring that bell.
Love it. So the clapper, the missing clapper.
Yeah,
it's not down at SFA. I mean, we've got their axe handle. Maybe
I'm about to say we might have a new clapper.
Yeah, right?
That we just picked
exchange.
up. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Hostage exchange.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Man, there's so much more we could do, but we got to go. Folks, thanks for tuning in to more of Inside Lion Athletics. Jim. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We're joined now by Lion head football coach Clint Dalzell. We're not going to Cali this week.
Yeah, we just recovered from that. Basically, everybody kind of was shaking that off yesterday in practice. A lot better today. Looks like we're a little more awake today.
Coach, the trip out there to San Diego the week before, you fly into Sacramento so you can play Cal Davis this last weekend, a much closer ball game, especially in the second half. Lions had a chance to win that game.
Yeah, well, we're driving down potential to tie or go for it, whatever we were going to do at that point. I probably was we had the momentum. I was thinking about probably just kicking a PAT because I thought it was on our side in that potential, spot right there. But, we had a situation where we had a wheel down the sideline we call, and just not enough reps to know him wanting to know where we want the football to go.
Right.
He tried to hit the crossing route, and we were looking for the wheel down the sideline to the running back.
All right, the him you're talking about, Ron Peace, who stepped in, made his first Division I start as a quarterback, guy out of Malakoff High. Tiger beat my Bulldogs in the playoffs a few years back. But, Coach, you got to like it when, Erod's down and Erod can't go probably this week. But Peace really showed he's definitely in the scrap for some playing time.
Yeah, I mean, going into the San Diego game, they were both 1A and 1B, and honestly, you could flip it how you wanted to. So we felt really comfortable with both them playing, a lot of downs. But, with Erod being down from his hand, and Ron got the nod, and it was all his, and he went out and did a lot of amazing things. He threw a great ball. He throws a great ball. Throws a really tight spiral. The thing we were most impressed with is he's strong. He's really strong in the pocket. He was able to shake off a lot of tackles and extend drives with his legs, not necessarily running, but just, creating time for our receivers to get open at times.
The offensive line gave him a little bit of time to do that. And when you talk about the pocket and how he was able to escape, the scheme in there is to leave an avenue of him to get out if he needs to, right?
It is. It is a chess match. I mean, it's when are they going to bring 5 or 6 more than you can block? When are you going to keep the running back in to help that, to hold that? So it is a chess match on both sides with offense and defense. And, we kept a lot of max protection in there to make sure he had time to throw, and the receivers were getting open. And we, obviously the yard showed after the game. We really just started to do that really in the second half. I don't know what kind of yards we'd have if we'd just started out the game throwing, but we definitely need to soften them up with the run game. We're going to be able to run the football. I know the stats don't show that, that we're having a great running attack, but a lot of that's shooting ourselves in the foot, dropping snaps, fumbling balls, taking not blocking somebody on a reverse or just a jet sweep, not blocking the right person on an option play where we're losing yards, and that's going against our running, yards. Right. And our line coach doesn't like it at all. So we've got to get that fixed. We've got to, receivers, when it's time to block, they got to get their blocks, and, we got to work on that.
Tell you what, the receivers made some catches for you, though. We're able to get open. It seemed like the game out at San Diego State, Erod wasn't able to find anybody that was getting open. Peace really couldn't find anybody, although he did a few times. But the Lion receivers were able to run a little bit wilder.
We did. Again, we kept them off balance. We mixed a little bit of hurry up in there as well, and trying to, where they can't just do a steady blitz on us, because they do have a really good blitz package. We picked it up pretty well for the most part. We worked on it all week in that, and the schemes got a lot of guys open, and then a lot of great individual effort when they played man-to-man to get open.
Cal Davis Aggies had couple of really good linebackers, one of whom ended up being the defensive player of the game, I think.
Yeah, for the last play probably.
Yeah, that and double-digit tackles.
Yeah, he's good.
But, Coach, their front line was formidable, and your guys did a really good job against them.
They did. That's one of the better pass rushes we're going to see. Anybody we play this year as UC Davis, they were really big. They're really strong, not overly fast, but they overwhelm you with their power, and we were able to hold up on our own. I was pleased with.
All right, let's flip the coin and get from the game played to the one coming up next. Grambling coming in. It's the home opener. First time the Lions and Grambling have played in who knows when, if ever. Have they played? Do we know?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we don't know. So it's been a while, regardless. Right. It's got to be exciting about the game coming up.
It is. There's a lot of buzz. It's our first home game, and it's Grambling coming to town. I think everybody was hoping they were bringing their band. I'm not sure if that's happening or not, but they're very similar to us. It's kind of looking in a mirror as far as their offense and defense and how they play. So it's going to be a good matchup for us on Saturday night.
Coach, I started to ask you about how's the team feel after being real close Saturday. They still didn't come out to win, but it had to be a little bit of a boost for them. But there's just, we're playing football. We're not taking
right. Well, we're frustrated. That's the good thing. Last year we were, kind of happy to play in games at times, just being in them. This year, that's not our mindset. Our mindset's to win football games, and we were angry and bitter after that game because we felt like we had a chance to win that football game, and we're not coming out. I mentioned it in my, in our post game interview that we got to learn how to win, and it needs to start this weekend.
You've heard some of the traditions that have been revived. Talk a little bit about the Victory Bell. Are you going to tell the guys some stories about that?
I don't know a lot about them. It wasn't here when I was here, so I don't know. I'm having to read. I read up on it today.
I think the clapper was gone.
It was the clicker. It was a clicker when I was here, as far as, third downs, we had a clicker downs. But, when I was here, there wasn't the ring the bell. But, obviously the song has always been around, and that's always been shared in the locker room. But the tradition of now we're going to share it with the whole world is awesome. I think it'll get, good buzz going. Student section, we're going to teach them how to sing it tonight at 7 o'clock with the pepper rally on the field. It's a great, inspiration, to be around as long as I've been around too, and then obviously way before me. So over 30 years of that tradition's been going on. We just want to sing it a lot more because you only get to sing it when you win.
That's right. Coach, well, we want to hear y'all in fine voice Saturday. How about Grambling Tigers? What have you seen of them on film? What should we expect? And is Ron Peace fired up for another good day?
He is. We hope he is. I mean, he's had a good week, really good practice today. Threw some really good balls, putting our guys really feeling comfortable with the offense, with commanding, because we ask a lot of our quarterbacks. We're signaling out, and they're having to tell the line, they're having to tell the receivers or running backs. They got a lot on their plate, and he's getting really comfortable out there, and it looks pretty easy for him. And Grambling coming in, as I mentioned, they are spitting image of us. Their defense plays fast. They got their own B-Tuck at linebacker who makes all their tackles. He's, everywhere on the field. They play a lot of man-free behind it, and they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback because of that. Because if you can't win on one-on-ones, you're going to have a long night. So we definitely got our plate full with them, and their offense is, put up a lot of points this past weekend against Tuskegee. So they can do it, just like we can do it. It's just a matter of who's going to do it on Saturday night.
Coach, for you, now that you've taken over this year, offensive duties totally for play calling and all that, you kind of got into a rhythm on Saturday, you and Peace, didn't you?
We did. It's as a whole. I got a good coaching staff. Me and Coach Paramore and Coach Townsend, we do a good mix of talking on the headsets and what we got going. We went at halftime, and I was frustrated. We felt like we were running the ball decent, but you look at the stats were awful, and that's because, again, we were shooting ourselves in the foot as far as rushing the ball. And I said, I think I'm done running. And we were done running. And, in the second half, we just, airmailed it, and it looked good.
All right. Think it did. Coach, I don't know what else to tell you today, but go beat Grambling.
We're going to get after them.
All right, folks. Hey, stay tuned. We got a little more of Inside Line Athletics coming your way after this. Stick around. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Line Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood, joined right now by Lion football quarterback Ron Peace. He's just the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Hey, man, it was so close. We had a great chance out there in California, but Davis skinned out of there with a win in their own house.
Yeah, we should. I think every time I think about that game, we really should have won that game. We had a bad first half. I think once we hit on all cylinders off for 4 quarters, I don't think really many teams could beat us.
For the way that you got into the game, made your first Division I start, what was, you probably didn't have time to think about it that way so much, but afterwards, did it kind of pop in your mind, hey, look what I did?
Really, I hadn't even really thought about it like me being the Southland Player of the Week, really. It just was another football game to me. I just had a great game, just hitting on all cylinders, doing what the play calls, doing what the coaches said to do, and then we were just hitting.
Yep.
Me and the receivers on key. If we do that, if we keep doing that, I think I can do that every game.
The first half there wasn't a whole lot of clicking, but in the second half, we could see from up in the booth just how the confidence, not only you throwing, but the receivers catching, and certainly the way your linemen were blocking for you.
Yeah, just talking to our linemen, keeping them up when bad plays happen, telling them to just move on to the next play. I think them keeping their confidence up, it just make them go harder, really, and just not letting them get down. They'll just play to the best of their ability, not letting me get hit. And when they do let me get hit, they just feel so bad. So I think I just keep them up, and then they just go harder.
Tell us a little bit about the communications out on the field. So you go back to the first game, for instance, San Diego State, and they got to have like a speaker in their helmet. The coach and the quarterback got to talk to one another. We don't have that because we're FCS, and we could have used it, but that's like $15,000, so maybe not for one game. How do you communicate when you're not in a huddle very often with everybody on your line? Most of the instructions coming from the sideline, but still your voice leads those 10 other guys out there.
Just knowing formations and then just using my voice. They trust everything I'm saying, so I just got to make the right calls. Whatever I call, they're going to run it. So it just got to be on me to make the right calls, and if I do, I think it will be successful.
Your receivers, talk a little bit about how their confidence grew in this game as well.
Just throwing with them all throughout the week, I think they get more comfortable. Just every time we make completions every day at practice, they just get more confident day by day. And if we just keep doing that, they'll they'll start catching the ball.
Eric Rodriguez, E-Rod, he's been here for years, welcomed you aboard as soon as you got here, and the other quarterbacks too. Coach says 1A, starter 1A, and starter 1B are almost interchangeable, and he's had a hand in that, helping you learn the playbook as well as you have and work with the other guys.
Yeah, E-Rod, he brought me in with open arms. He the reason I know the playbook so well. He helped me whenever I needed help. I ask him every time I'm like not sure about something, and he'll tell me the right thing. And then I just play to do what he say, and then he just helped me with everything at this. Where I'm at today is because of E-Rod. Like, I wouldn't know the playbook as good as I do because of him.
So this is your first year, obviously, here in Commerce, before at Trinity Valley, and kind of an East Texas guy, Malakoff. In your high school days, you had to beat my Bulldogs, man, in the playoffs. I was there for that. Did it twice. Yeah, thanks. Hey, but why Commerce?
I mean, the coaches, Coach Paramore, he's been trying to get me for a minute. And I just trusted him. I trust the process. I trust Coach Dozell. When they brought me on a visit, I fell in love with the campus. I fell in love with the coaching staff. I fell in love with the players here. They all brought me in. They took me out. We all had a good time. So I just knew Commerce was a place for it. It wasn't too far from home either.
Yeah, that's a good aspect. You've got family, son down in Houston,
yep.
And the rest of your family is in the Malakoff area, right?
Malakoff, Athens, yes, sir.
Man, they're going to have to give up a lake day.
They'll get it back.
They'll get it back.
Yeah.
They'll get it back. All right, man. So tell us a little bit about Grambling. How's the preparation gone for that, and what do you think?
I think we prepared good. We executed a lot of stuff. We didn't have 2 good days, so I think we ready. We're gonna be ready.
What are you going to be watching out for defensively? What do they do that y'all are going to have to make sure everybody's on track?
I mean, they're a simple team. They easy to read. It's just they like to blitz a lot.
And your receivers love to run fast.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Can't wait. You know, everybody at Chicks dig the long ball, right? And we'll see. We saw plenty of that out in Cali.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything you want to say to anybody while we're still here?
Get the dub Saturday.
All right. Let's go.
Good time.
Lions up, man. Thanks a lot, Ron Peets.
Sir.
And we will see you Saturday, folks. Thanks for joining us again this week.